Welcome to the Ramayan, Stories of Dharm and Devotion. I'm Sandeep, your storyteller, guiding you through the timeless epic of Valmiki's Ramayan. While our narrative is deeply rooted in Valmiki's version, we weave in stories from other Indian texts to provide a richer understanding of this eternal tale. Today's episode marks a monumental moment in the Ramayan, the abduction of Sita by Raavan. In this episode, we continue from where we left off, Raavan's return to Lanka after coercing Maricha to support his cunning plan. The events that follow set the stage for one of the most pivotal moments in the Ramayan, the abduction of Sita.
Raavan returned to Lanka with a determined gleam in his eyes. Shurpankha awaited him eagerly, her disfigured face hidden beneath a veil, but her vindictive smile evident. "Brother," she said, "have you laid the groundwork to avenge me?" Raavan nodded. "Maricha will aid me. The mortals who dare to insult our bloodline will soon taste despair. I shall take what is most precious to Ram, his wife, Sita, and shatter his resolve." Shurpankha, figning devotion, replied, "You are truly the king of the three worlds. Let Ram and Lakshman learn the cost of opposing Raavan." With his plan in place, Raavan prepared to execute the next phase of his scheme. In the royal chambers of Lanka, Raavan gathered his closest confidants to finalize the details of his plan. His mind raced with ideas, each more cunning than the last. Finally, he devised a strategy that would exploit both Ram's virtue and Sita's innocence. "Maricha will transform into a golden deer," Raavan explained. "He will enchant Sita, drawing Ram and Lakshman away from the ashram. While they are distracted, I will disguise myself as a wandering sage and approach Sita. Her innate compassion will compel her to step beyond the threshold of safety, and then I will seize her." The courtiers exchanged uneasy glances, knowing the audacity of the plan. But Raavan's confidence left no room for dissent. Shurpankha, seated nearby, clapped her hands in delight. "Brilliant, brother. Let the mortals' own virtues lead to their downfall." Raavan turned to her, his voice cold and commanding. "Ensure that no one in Lanka interferes with my mission. Once Sita is brought here, she will learn the grandeur of Lanka and the power of Raavan." With a plan set, Raavan departed for the Dandaka forest to oversee the first phase of his scheme. Far away in the Dandaka forest, Maricha sat in despair. He had no illusions about what lay ahead. "If I refuse Raavan, I die at his hands. If I comply, I die by Ram's arrow. Yet, perhaps my death will serve as a warning and a turning point in this tale." With these thoughts, Maricha invoked his powers of illusion, transforming into a magnificent golden deer. His fur shimmered like sunlight on water, and his antlers sparkled as though encrusted with jewels. The transformation complete, Maricha bounded into the forest toward Panchvati, the ashram of Ram, Sita, and Lakshman. At the ashram, the day began like any other. Ram was tending to his bow, Lakshman was gathering firewood, and Sita was arranging flowers. Suddenly, a flash of golden light caught their attention. "Sita," Ram said, pointing toward the forest, "do you see that? It looks like a deer, but I have never seen such beauty before." Sita's eyes lit up with wonder. "My lord, it is no ordinary deer. Its radiance is enchanting. Can we not capture it? It would be a delightful companion and a gift for Bharat when we return to Ayodhya." Lakshman, ever cautious, intervened. "Brother, this is surely a Raksha's illusion. We should not pursue it." But Sita's heart was set. "Please, Ram," she pleaded. "I have never asked for much during our exile. Let me have this one thing." Unable to deny her request, Ram smiled. "Very well, my love. I will bring you this deer. Lakshman, stay with Sita and protect her. Do not leave her side, no matter what you hear." Lakshman nodded solemnly, and Ram set off in pursuit of the golden deer. Ram moved swiftly through the dense forest, his senses heightened and his bow ready. The golden deer darted through the trees, its shimmering form a beacon amidst the greenery. At times, It seemed to slow, almost beckoning him to follow, and at others, it vanished, leaving only a faint rustling of leaves behind. This is no ordinary creature, Ram mused as he leaped over a stream, his eyes fixed on the fleeting glimmers of gold. Yet, even with his suspicions, the thought of fulfilling Sita's simple desire spurred him onward. Maricha, in his golden deer form, led Ram deeper into the wilderness. His heart was heavy with foreboding. Ram is unlike any opponent, he thought. Even as I deceive him, I cannot help but admire his divine presence. Still, I must see this through. After a long and calculated chase, Ram finally stopped in a clearing. The golden deer paused at the center, its chest heaving as if from exertion. Ram took a deep breath and knocked a celestial arrow gifted to him by sage Agastya. His aim was true, and as he released the arrow, it flew with an ethereal glow, striking the deer with unerring precision. Maricha let out a piercing cry, his illusion breaking as he reverted to his Rakshas form. Ram, he called out in a voice filled with anguish and triumph. Lakshman, Sita, help me. The forest echoed with his cry, each reverberation more urgent than the last. Ram's eyes widened in realization. It was a trap all along, he murmured. Turning swiftly, he raced back toward the ashram, his heart pounding with dread. At the ashram, Sita had been pacing nervously. The golden deer had enchanted her, but as time passed, unease began to creep into her heart. Why is Ram taking so long? She asked, glancing toward the forest. Lakshman, seated nearby, tried to reassure her. Devi, my brother is more than capable of handling any challenge. Have faith, he will return. But then came the cry, a desperate, heart-wrenching call for help. Lakshman. The voice was unmistakably Ram's, filled with pain and urgency. Sita froze. Did you hear that? Ram is in danger. She turned to Lakshman, her eyes wide with fear. Go to him, Lakshman. He needs you. Lakshman hesitated, remembering Ram's command. No, Devi. My brother instructed me to stay here and protect you. This could be a trick. Sita's fear turned to anger. How can you sit idly while your brother suffers? Do you not care for him? Perhaps you want him to die. Lakshman recoiled, his face stricken. Devi, how can you say such things? My loyalty to Ram is absolute, and I would give my life for both of you. But Sita, overcome by panic, refused to relent. If you truly care for Ram, you will go to him now. If you do not, I will consider you a traitor. Lakshman, torn between duty and her harsh accusations, finally relented. Fine, I will go, Devi, he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. But promise me this, do not step outside the boundaries of this ashram. This line, he gestured to the Lakshman Rekha, a protective barrier he drew around the hut, will shield you from harm. Do not cross it under any circumstances. Sita nodded, her anger giving way to worry. As Lakshman disappeared into the forest, a foreboding silence enveloped the ashram. Not long after Lakshman left, the air grew still and an unsettling quiet settled over the ashram. Sita sat by the fire, her mind a whirl of emotions, worry for Ram, regret for her words to Lakshman, and a gnawing sense of dread. Suddenly, a shadow fell across the doorway. Sita looked up to see a wandering sage, draped in ochre robes and leaning on a staff. His face was serene, but his eyes held a strange intensity. Blessings upon you, noble lady, the sage said, his voice deep and commanding. I am but a humble ascetic, traveling these forests in search of sustenance. Would you grant me alms? Sita, ever compassionate, rose to her feet. Of course, revered sage. Please, come closer. As she moved toward him, the Lakshman Rekha glowed faintly, a barrier she had promised not to cross. The sage, standing just beyond it, smiled knowingly. Ah, such devotion to Dharm. But surely, Your husband would not deny an old man the hospitality of stepping inside. Or could it be that this line is meant to keep you trapped? Sita hesitated, his words seeping into her mind like venom. No, she said firmly. I am not trapped. Please wait here. I will bring food and water. But the sage continued, his tone shifting. A noble lady like you should not be confined by invisible boundaries. What harm could there be in stepping outside for a moment to serve a wanderer? Sita, torn between caution and compassion, finally stepped beyond the Lakshman Rekha, her heart filled with both hesitation and compassion. As she handed the alms to the disguised sage, the air grew heavy, and a chilling transformation unfolded before her eyes. The humble figure melted away, replaced by the towering form of Raavan. His 10 heads, though now hidden, seemed to emanate a commanding presence. His eyes gleamed with triumph, and a wicked smile played on his lips. Sita, Raavan thundered, you have fallen into my trap. You shall come with me to Lanka, where your beauty will grace my palace. Sita took a step back, her fear giving way to anger. Who are you, while one, to speak such words to me? Do you not know who my husband is? Raavan laughed, a deep, resonant sound that echoed through the forest. I am Raavan, king of Lanka, conqueror of the 3 worlds. I am feared by devas, asuras, and mortals alike. Your husband may claim to be strong, but he is no match for me. Sita's eyes blazed with defiance. You boast of your might, but you know not whom you challenge. My lord, Ram, is no ordinary man. He is the son of Dashrath, the mightiest king of Ayodhya, and the embodiment of Dharm itself. His arrows are blessed by the gods, and his strength knows no equal. Raavan's smile widened, but it did not reach his eyes. Your loyalty is admirable, Sita, but misplaced. Let me tell you of my conquests. I have defeated Kuber, the lord of wealth, and taken Lanka as my own. Lanka, the golden city, now shines brighter under my rule than it ever did under his. He paused, his voice growing more arrogant. Do you see this celestial chariot, the Pushpak Viman? It was Kuber's, but it now belongs to me, as does everything else he once possessed. And do you know why? Because I am blessed by the mightiest of gods. Sita's lips curled in disdain. You speak of blessings, yet your actions are steeped in adharm. What god would bless such arrogance? Raavan's tone shifted, becoming almost reverent. I am a devotee of Lord Shiv, the destroyer of worlds. It was I who lifted Mount Kailash itself in a gesture of devotion, and it was Lord Shiv who granted me the celestial sword Chandrahas as a token of his favor. With this sword, I am invincible. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. And if that is not enough, my tapasya to Lord Brahma earned me a boon. I cannot be killed by any deva, asura, or celestial being. I am untouchable. Your husband is but a mortal, a speck of dust before my might. Sita's eyes did not waver. You may have blessings, Raavan, but your arrogance blinds you. My Ram has faced foes greater than you. He does not rely on boons or stolen treasures, but on his righteousness and unmatched valor. He defeated your brother Khair and Dushan and their armies without breaking a sweat. Do you think he will falter before you? Raavan's face darkened. Khair and Dushan were fools who underestimated their enemy. I, Raavan, am no fool. Ram may have defeated them, but he has yet to face the king of Lanka. When he does, he will know despair. Sita's voice grew stronger, her faith unshakable. You claim to be invincible, yet you stand before me, trying to deceive and abduct a defenseless woman. Is this the act of a mighty king? My Ram would never stoop so low. Your pride will be your undoing, Raavan. Raavan's gaze narrowed, and for a moment, a flicker of doubt crossed his face. But his pride quickly smothered it. Sita, you speak boldly, but your words will not save you. You will come with me to Lanka, willingly or otherwise. Your husband will never reach you there. My fortresses are impenetrable, and my armies are countless. Sita stepped back, her voice steady and filled with conviction. Raavan, no fortress is impenetrable to Dharm. My Ram will find me, and he will vanquish you. Mark my words, your actions today will bring about your destruction. Raavan's laugh was cold and hollow. We shall see, Sita. But for now, you are mine. Lanka awaits its new queen. He gestured toward the Pushpak Viman, and the air around them seemed to ripple with energy. Sita cried out, but Raavan made no move to touch her. Instead, the chariot's invisible force enveloped her, lifting her into its confines.
As Raavan's chariot disappeared into the skies with Sita, the wheels of destiny were set in motion. This act of deceit and hubris would ignite a chain of events that would culminate in a battle between Dharm and Adharm, a battle that would shape the destiny of the three worlds. Yet, even as we recount this tale, it is important to recognize the many variations of the Ramayan, each offering its own unique perspective on this timeless epic. Some texts suggest that Raavan never truly captured Sita. According to these accounts, Ram, wise and perceptive as always, foresaw the danger when Sita expressed her desire for the golden deer. Before leaving to pursue it, Ram requested Sita to take shelter within a sacred fire, a symbol of purity and protection. It is said that the Sita who interacted with Raavan was not the real Sita, but a divine manifestation, Chaya Sita, or the shadow Sita. This version implies that Raavan's abduction was merely an illusion, a trial set by the universe to fulfill the grand design of Dharm. Similarly, there are accounts that question the very existence of the Lakshman Rekha. These versions propose that the line was not a literal boundary, but a metaphorical one, a line that separates duty and nature. It was in Sita's nature to serve and give, to extend her compassion to anyone in need, even a disguised Raavan. And it was in Raavan's nature to seize what did not belong to him, blinded by his arrogance and desire. The absence of the physical line emphasizes the deeper conflict between human choices and inherent nature. These differing accounts remind us of the richness and complexity of the Ramayan. While we may never know what truly transpired, each version offers valuable lessons. The story of Sita's abduction is not just a tale of deception and pride, but also one of unwavering faith, resilience, and the enduring power of righteousness. As we conclude this episode, let us reflect on the timeless themes that emerge from these narratives. Sita's unwavering faith in Ram, her courage in the face of adversity, and her dignity even in captivity inspire us to stay true to our values. Raavan's arrogance and disregard for Dharm serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the perils of unchecked ambition and hubris. Whether it is the story of Chaya Sita, the Lakshman Rekha, or the traditional retelling, the Ramayan continues to guide and inspire, reminding us that the ultimate triumph lies in upholding Dharm, even in the face of the greatest challenges. Thank you for joining me on the Ramayan stories of Dharm and Devotion. As we move forward in this journey, we will explore how Ram, Lakshman, and their allies rise to meet the challenges posed by Raavan's actions, leading to the epic battle between Dharm and Adharm. Until next time, may the light of Dharm guide your path and fill your heart with peace.